Right now, somewhere in your company, one of your best people is about to do something they're technically not supposed to do. Here's the situation. She needs a piece of software to hit a deadline on Friday, and the approved way to buy it, a requisition form, a vendor lookup she can't find. 4 layers of approval that will take about 3 weeks. So what does she do? She grabs a corporate card, buys it from the first decent option she finds, and gets back to work. She's not a bad employee. She's a good one, solving a problem that your system made unnecessarily hard. And in that moment, she just became part of one of the biggest, quietest money leaks in the entire business. And I've seen this happen in multiple work environments. So today, I want to talk about that leak, what it is, why it happens, and why almost everyone tries to fix it in exactly the wrong way. It has a name, Maverick Spend, purchasing that happens outside your approved contracts and processes. And before you file this under boring procurement stuff, stay with me because the number is genuinely shocking. And the lesson underneath it applies to almost everything in your organization. Here's the number. The Hackett's Group, and they've studied this for years, finds that companies lose somewhere between 5 and 16% of their negotiated savings to Maverick Spend every year. Let that land for a bit. On a $500 million spend base, that's $25 to $80 million gone. And this isn't money you never had. It's money your procurement team already saved, already negotiated. And then the company quietly hands it back. Now, here's the part that reframes the entire problem. When researchers dig into why this happens, why people go around the system, the answer is almost never bad people. It's friction. The approved path is just too painful to use. Sit with that for a second because it changes everything about how you should respond. In my experience, what I've seen is what most organizations do when they discover this leak is the instinct is almost universal. Tighten the controls, add an approval step, send out the stern or strict policy memo, block the workarounds, crack it down completely. Think about what that actually accomplishes. Why did people go around the process in the first place? Because it was too hard to use. So what happens when you make it more rigorous? You make the compliant paths even harder, which makes the workaround even more tempting. You've just responded to a friction problem by adding friction. The leak doesn't shrink, it goes deeper underground. More personal cards, more untracked vendors, even harder to see. You've made it worse while feeling like you did something responsible. So here's the thing I really want you to hear. Maverick Spend is not a discipline problem, and that's exactly why discipline doesn't fix it. Now, why do I see this differently? Because of where I come from. Before I ever worked in enterprise transformation, I was a designer, architect, industrial designer, packaging designer. And when a designer looks at Maverick Spend, they don't see a compliance failure at all. They see a service that's failing its users. Because that's what this is. Think about it. Procure to pay, the whole system for buying things is an internal service. And the customer is your own employee trying to get what they need to do their job. And here's what we know cold from decades of studying customer experience. When a service is painful, people route around it. When the official path has more friction than the workaround wins every time in every company, no matter what the policy states. We know this completely when it's an external customer. We just never think to point it inwards at the boring, invisible, customer free machinery inside our own four walls. And when you look at the real reasons Maverick Spend happens, Watch this. Not one of them is bad employees. It's confusing. Slow workflows. It's disconnected systems where procurement and finance and the ERP don't talk to each other. It's no visibility. So nobody notices until the month end scramble. It's approved supplier catalogs. So hard to find that people don't even know a negotiated contract exists. Every one of those, it's a seam, a broken connection between two systems, two teams, two pieces of information. Maverick Spend isn't a bunch of individual bad choices. It's the totally predictable output of a system whose seams were never designed. The leak is just the symptom. The broken connections are the disease. What do you actually do about it? You stop trying to change human behavior and you start removing the reason the behavior exists. Here's the discipline I'd offer. Two parts. First, see it as service design. Recognize that your employee is a user of an internal service that's failing them, and that their non-compliance is actually honest feedback about how bad that service is. Then second, solve it as systems thinking. Redesign the seams between procurement, finance, and the buyer so that the compliant path becomes the path of least resistance. And the best organizations already do this. Even if they don't call it design, they use guided buying, putting the approved suppliers and the pre-negotiated prices right there at the moment of purchase. So the right choice is the default choice, not a treasure hunt. They build a fast lane, automatic approval for small, low risk purchases within 24 hours. So nobody needs to skip the system for a $200 buy. And they connect the system so spend is visible in real time, not discovered 3 weeks later when the money's already gone. And does it work? The data is clear. World class procurement teams hit nearly 75% contract compliance versus an average of about 59. Top performers lose 60% less of their savings than everyone else. And that gap has nothing to do with them having more obedient employees. It's that they built better systems. They made the right path, the easy path, and the compliance just follows. So here's what I want you to take away from this. And it goes way beyond procurement. The next time you see a number you don't like, people breaking a rule, skipping a process, going around a system, resist the urge to ask, how do I make them comply? Ask a different question. Ask, what is my process doing that makes the workaround more attractive than the right way? Because your people are already telling you where your systems are broken. Every workaround is a piece of feedback. You can treat it as a discipline problem and keep firing off memos into the void, or you can treat it as a design problem, an internal service to fix, a set of seams to connect, and actually close the leak. So this week, here's your challenge. Find one process in your world that people are quietly routing around. Don't ask how to enforce it. Ask what makes the workaround easier and what it would take to flip that. That one question is the whole difference between policing a system and designing one. This is one of the ideas I explore in more depth in my book, CX First, which is available on Amazon and in your local booksellers. Let me know your ideas. Let me know what you think about it. This is Human Centered Experience. I'm Hitesh Bagai. See you next week. Thanks for listening to my podcast. If you found this insightful, please subscribe, share, and check out my recent article on this topic on LinkedIn. As always, feel free to get in touch with me with comments, suggestions, and ideas. I'm Hitesh, and I'll see you next time.